It was a sunny afternoon in the neighborhood when something unexpected happened. A police car slowly pulled up behind a little boy who was driving a toy car on the sidewalk. The boy, lost in his own world of imagination, was steering his plastic vehicle with all the seriousness of an experienced driver. The police car's siren let out a playful chirp, and the boy turned around, eyes wide with surprise and curiosity. The policeman stepped out of his car, his uniform crisp and his demeanor friendly. He walked up to the little boy, who looked up with a mixture of awe and excitement. "Hey there, buddy. Looks like you're having quite the adventure today," the officer said with a smile. The boy beamed, thrilled to be interacting with a real-life police officer. The two chatted for a moment, the policeman making light-hearted jokes about the state of the boy's toy car. "I think your car might need a little tune-up," he said, pointing to a missing wheel sticker and a slightly bent steering wheel. The boy laughed, his eyes sparkling with delight. Then, with a twinkle in his eye, the police officer took out his notepad and pretended to write a ticket. "I'm afraid I'm going to have to write you up for being too awesome at driving," he said, handing the boy a piece of paper with a mock ticket written on it. The boy's laughter bubbled up again, louder this time, as he accepted the ticket with all the seriousness he could muster. The officer gave him a friendly pat on the shoulder before heading back to his patrol car. He watched from a distance as the little boy held the ticket and mimicked the actions of an adult who had just received an actual citation. The boy carefully placed the ticket on the dashboard of his toy car, adjusted his imaginary seatbelt, and continued his joyful drive, now with an added layer of playfulness to his adventure. In that moment, the boy got to feel what it was like to be a grown-up, if only for a little while. The officer, too, drove away with a smile on his face, knowing he had made a small but significant impact on the boy's day. If you think this police officer's kindness made the little boy's day, and you want to hear more heartwarming stories like this, make sure to subscribe. As the police officer drove away, the boy continued to play, weaving through imaginary traffic and stopping at pretend red lights. His joy was infectious, and soon a small crowd of neighbors gathered, drawn by his laughter and the sight of a tiny car being driven with such enthusiasm. Among the onlookers was Mrs. Thompson, the elderly lady who lived down the street. She waved at the boy, and he waved back, just like any courteous driver would. She approached him and said, "Looks like you had a run-in with the law, young man." The boy proudly showed her the mock ticket, explaining in great detail how the officer had caught him waving and jokingly issued the ticket. Mrs. Thompson chuckled, enjoying the boy's animated retelling. Inspired by the boy's encounter, the neighbors decided to join in the fun. Mr. Johnson, a retired mechanic, offered to fix the boy's toy car. He brought out a toolbox and some stickers, and with the boy's help, they made a few repairs. The boy watched in fascination as Mr. Johnson carefully adjusted the wheels and added new stickers, making the toy car look almost brand new. As they worked, the boy's mother came out with a tray of lemonade and cookies for everyone. The neighbors gathered around, sharing stories and laughing, turning a simple afternoon into a community event. The boy's father, who had been working inside, came out to see what all the commotion was about. He couldn't help but smile at the sight of his son being the center of such joyful attention. "Looks like you've become quite the celebrity," he said, ruffling the boy's hair. The boy grinned up at him, holding up his ticket proudly. "Daddy, look, I got a ticket from the policeman because I was too awesome at driving." His father laughed, giving him a thumbs up. "Well, we better frame that ticket. It's a badge of honor." As the afternoon turned into evening, the neighbors slowly dispersed, each one with a smile on their face and a heart warmed by the simple, unexpected event. The boy's parents helped him put away his toy car, and as they tucked him into bed that night, he was still talking about the police officer and his special ticket. "Do you think the policeman will come back tomorrow?" the boy asked sleepily. "Maybe," his mother said, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. "But even if he doesn't, you made a lot of people happy today. That's something really special." The boy smiled as his eyes closed, dreaming of more adventures in his toy car and the kind policeman who had made his day unforgettable. The next day, word of the little boy's encounter spread, and people in the neighborhood began to look out for ways to add a bit of magic to each other's days. The local bakery gave out free cookies to kids, the librarian held an impromptu story time in the park, and the community started planning a block party. All because a police officer took a moment to connect with a little boy, reminding everyone that sometimes, the smallest gestures can create the biggest ripples of joy. And as for the boy, he continued to drive his toy car with pride, always keeping his ticket in the glove compartment, ready to show anyone who asked about his special day with the policeman. If you believe in the power of small acts of kindness and the joy they can bring, don't forget to subscribe for more heartwarming stories like this one. The excitement from the previous day lingered in the air as the neighborhood buzzed with a newfound sense of community and connection. The little boy woke up with a smile, eager to continue his adventures in his toy car. His parents, still delighted by the previous day's events, decided to take him on a walk around the neighborhood to see what other surprises might await. As they strolled, they noticed subtle changes inspired by the police officer's act of kindness. A few houses down, a group of children had set up a lemonade stand, offering free lemonade to anyone who stopped by. The boy and his parents were greeted with cheerful smiles and refreshing drinks. The children even gave the boy a special sticker for his toy car, a small token of their appreciation for the joy he had brought to the neighborhood. Further down the street, they came across Mrs. Thompson, who had set up a small garden corner where kids could plant flowers. She handed the boy a tiny sunflower seedling and showed him how to plant it in a colorful pot. "This will grow tall and strong, just like you," she said with a warm smile. The boy carefully patted the soil around the seedling, feeling a sense of pride and accomplishment. As they continued their walk, they encountered Mr. Johnson, who was now offering free bike tune-ups to kids in the neighborhood. He waved them over and offered to give the boy's toy car another checkup. While Mr. Johnson tinkered with the car, he shared stories of his own childhood, drawing laughter from the boy and his parents. Their walk led them to the park, where they found a small gathering of families enjoying a picnic. The librarian, true to her word, was holding an impromptu storytime session under a large oak tree. Children sat in a semicircle, entranced by her animated storytelling. The boy joined the group, listening intently to tales of adventure and friendship. When the session ended, the librarian handed each child a book to take home, a gift to nurture their love of reading. Feeling the warmth of the community's embrace, the boy and his parents headed back home, their hearts full. As they approached their house, they noticed a familiar police car parked outside. The same police officer who had given the boy his mock ticket stood by the car, chatting with some neighbors. The officer spotted the boy and walked over, a broad smile on his face. "Hey there, buddy. I see your car's looking great with those new stickers," he said, pointing to the colorful additions. The boy beamed, holding up the sticker he had received from the lemonade stand. "And look, I planted a sunflower," he exclaimed, showing the officer the pot with the seedling dot. The officer knelt down, examining the plant with genuine interest. "That's fantastic. You're quite the gardener," he said. He then turned to the boy's parents, who thanked him once again for his kindness. "You've really brought our community together," they said. The officer nodded, looking around at the happy faces and the small but meaningful changes in the neighborhood. "Sometimes, all it takes is a little act of kindness to spark something wonderful," he replied. Before he left, the officer handed the boy a junior police badge, a small keepsake to remember their encounter. "You've got the makings of a great leader," he said, pinning the badge on the boy's shirt. "Keep spreading that joy, and you'll make the world a better place." The boy's eyes shone with pride as he looked up at the officer. "I will," he promised. As the police car drove away, the boy and his parents stood on their porch, watching it disappear down the street. The boy clutched his badge, feeling a deep sense of happiness and belonging. He knew that he was part of a community that cared, a place where small acts of kindness could make a big difference. And as the days turned into weeks, the boy continued to drive his toy car, now with even more confidence and joy. The neighborhood remained a place of warmth and connection, a testament to the power of kindness and the lasting impact of a simple, unexpected encounter. If you believe in the power of small acts of kindness and the joy they can bring, don't forget to subscribe for more heartwarming stories like this one.